The Russia-Ukraine war has entered its third year, resulting in widespread casualties exceeding 10,000 and substantial economic devastation amounting to $411 billion. This conflict has also profoundly reshaped the geopolitical environment. Ukraine used to hold a crucial position in global exports of both agricultural and non-agricultural goods. However, Russia's full-scale invasion has led to severe destruction of Ukraine's transportation and logistics infrastructure. In 2023, Ukraine's exports totaled $36.2 billion, marking an 18.1% decline from the previous year. By April 2024, Ukraine had exported 13.2 million tons of goods valued at $3.4 billion. Before the Russian invasion, Ukraine heavily relied on its top 5 ports in the Black Sea region: Perveen, Mykolaiv, Chornomorsk, Odessa, and Mariupol. These ports collectively handled 90% of the country's seaport cargo traffic, with 98% of grain exports passing through them. Following Russia's full-scale invasion from February to May 2022, both Mykolaiv and Mariupol ports became non-functional. Meanwhile, Chornomorsk, Perveen, and Odessa ports continued operations, but at reduced capacity. As tensions heightened, Turkey, Russia, and the United Nations supported the Black Sea Grain Initiative, allowing for the export of commercial food and fertilizers from 3 critical Ukrainian ports on the Black Sea. This initiative facilitated Ukraine's export of approximately 136 million tons of goods. However, in July, Russia withdrew from the agreement and resumed attacks on Odessa, Chornomorsk, and Perveen ports. Alongside its seaports, Ukraine also relies on its road and rail infrastructure for exporting goods. In Russian attacks, roads and railway tracks have been significantly damaged due to the ongoing full-scale invasion. Despite facing numerous obstacles, Ukraine has created a humanitarian corridor along the western Black Sea coast, near Romania and Bulgaria. From January to April 2024, the Ukrainian National Rail Company exported 30.4 million tons of goods, nearly 50% more than in the same period of 2023. Repeated Russian attacks on Ukrainian ports have severely disrupted the import chain, leading to a notable increase in food prices worldwide. Grain prices have surged significantly and rapidly. Before the conflict, Ukraine ranked as the world's 7th largest wheat exporter and the leading exporter of sunflower seeds. Ukraine allocates 65% of its wheat exports to developing nations and 35% to developed countries. Similarly, 51% of its maize exports are destined for developing nations, with the remaining 49% is shipped to developed countries. The extensive disruption of Ukraine's exports has particularly impacted developing countries, resulting in significant inflation and food shortages. According to the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World Report, between 691 million and 783 million people faced food shortages in 2022 due to these disruptions. Developing nations like Pakistan, Nigeria, Liberia, and Ethiopia encountered significant inflationary pressures. Liberia, for instance, saw prices rise by 61% between December 2022 and 2023. Meanwhile, developed countries also grappled with unprecedented inflation levels by the end of 2023, with Turkey recording the highest food inflation rate at 72.5%. Despite the overall decrease in global food prices when measured in US dollars, there has been a distinct rise in local food prices across many countries when assessed in their respective national currencies. By September and October 2023, food prices in low-income countries surged by over 30%, while lower middle-income countries faced inflation rates exceeding 15% during the same period. The increasing cost of fuel has a direct impact on the escalation of food prices, a problem exacerbated by the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. As a major global energy player, Russia ranks second only to the United States in oil production, contributing 534 million tons annually, which represents approximately 12% of the world's total output. Following the US sanctions imposed on Russia due to the conflict in Ukraine, crude oil futures surged to $133, $460 per barrel on March 7, 2022, marking their highest levels since July 2008. This surge has had a ripple effect worldwide, particularly felt in countries like Hong Kong, Singapore, Finland, Albania, and Denmark, where some of the highest fuel prices are currently being experienced. Ukraine ranks among the top 10 global suppliers of mineral resources, including rare earth metals. Before the onset of the war, Ukraine was a key provider of titanium used extensively in the military sector. The country also boasts the largest lithium reserves in Europe and stands as the world's fifth largest producer of gallium. Following Russia's attack, prices for nickel and lithium surged by 36% and 14.97% respectively. These metals play pivotal roles in the production of electric vehicles and renewable energy technologies. Goldman Sachs projects that by 2030, electric vehicles could constitute 72% of new vehicle sales in the EU and 50% in the US, potentially driving a substantial increase in lithium demand, which could surge up to 21 times its current levels. However, the ongoing conflict threatens to disrupt this anticipated trajectory, potentially impacting global supply chains and the advancement of renewable energy technologies dependent on these critical minerals. The escalating Russia-Ukraine conflict hinges on numerous factors such as diplomatic efforts, international interventions, military strategies, and the readiness of both sides to pursue peaceful resolutions. This ongoing conflict has already resulted in significant human suffering, economic hardship, and far-reaching geopolitical consequences. As long as Russian military threats endure, Ukraine's trade capabilities will remain constrained, impacting global developing countries.